Hello my friends and welcome to the part 15 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Solo Mode Dex Overview. So I'll try to be quick so that I can maybe even get to a pack opening. Okay, so first one, always starting with my lone deck and then going to my opponents. So, first of all, my lone deck is called Invitation to Mirror. The deck description reads, a Dreamier deck that features two types of fusion monsters as ace cards. The requirement for both fusion material monsters is two Dreamier monsters with different attributes. So you'll need to use your light and dark monsters in a balanced way. So this is kind of like an, since the Dreamiers switch between light and dark, this is kind of like a fusion based chaos deck in a way. So like instead of like banishing them from your graveyard to get out the monsters, using them as fusion materials to get out the monsters. That's like something I was thinking about. But yeah, since the Dreamiers consist of light and dark, chaos playing chaos monsters is definitely a good way of utilizing the two attributes. And it's kind of cool that some of these can even be treated as both attributes while on the field. Of course, when you're actually using them as fusion material, you do still have to use two Dreamier monsters, but it's still pretty cool because like what that means, like this guy is treated as both light and dark. So what that does mean, however, is that if you have him and either a light and a dark or a dark Dreamier as the other one, you can still use like both of those to go into the Oniros, either one of these, since they call for the same materials. So yeah, that's really cool. And kind of same thing goes with these, but like really you're probably just gonna use their alternate abilities to like be able to go into the opposite Oniros without having to like utilize a fusion spell. And then Dreamier of Chaos is the quick play fusion, and having a quick play fusion is really good because that means you can fuse on your opponent's turn. Unfortunately, like I think the quick play fusions tend to not be as powerful because being able to fuse on your opponent's turn is already a really good thing. But sometimes even quick play fusions can still be fairly powerful. But this one is like a quick play one where you need to use monsters already on your field, so not as powerful, but still pretty good. See, it just tends to be a little bit weaker than polymerization, just to like help balance out the fact that it's a quick play. That's what I think about it anyway. That's my thoughts on it. And then 1-for-1 really good because it doesn't proc the effects, but it still helps get either one of these guys out. And then of course, again, then the Dreamier of Joy and Terror, because they can like keep like going. You can keep switching them out, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Phantasms is the Searcher. So yeah, they got quite a bit going for them. I just think the main reason why people don't really like the Dreamiers is that like it's really they're really reliant on a specific field spell, and like depending on the monster you have, like you may have like a monster on the field, but you don't have the right field spell, and then you kind of have to wait until the end phase in order to get yourself to the correct field spell. I think that may be why people... I mean, Metaverse can kind of help alleviate a little bit. I think Metaverse can even activate even if you already have a field spell. You just replace it for the other one. Eventually you can run out, since like it has to be from your hand or deck. It's not allowed to be from your graveyard. If it was from your hand or deck or graveyard, that could be pretty good. But unfortunately just hand or deck, so eventually you could run out, and then you have to like find a way to recur them from the graveyard, which I don't think this deck is really that great at like recurring the field spells from the graveyard. I think that might also be like another problem if your opponent, or like if your opponent destroys the field spell, then you can't get there, like banish it to like activate the other one. And maybe you can like protect it a little bit with some of your cards, but they don't really have like built-in protection, so that also kind of sucks too. Or like if your opponent gets rid of your monsters, even like their effects are only applied while you control a specific attribute, Dreamier monster. So if your opponent maybe can just simply get rid of all of your monsters, like that could kind of break the deck too. I feel like there might be a lot of ways to kind of like break the deck, which might be why people don't really like it all that much. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about anyway. Because it doesn't really seem like a lot of people are playing this deck. So I'm just like trying to think about like reasons why maybe. And then the exceeds are here because like they got like, you got like level 4s, you got level 1s. At least that's one of the nice things about this deck, is that like it's not that hard to bring out some of your other Dreamiers, and it does like open you up a little bit more to like different ranked exceeds, like whereas other decks maybe can't necessarily afford to play a lot of different levels. You could even play rank 3 monsters too, since you have a few level 3s as well. So yeah. So there's also that. Probably could play Lena, of course. Lena, Dark. So at least like being light and dark, and being able to use like chaos cards with this also like helps, since like light and dark is like two really good attributes to be. So there's some of the pros of the deck. Anyway, yeah, I'll do a little bit of a cycle so you can see all the effects. Should probably do that, and then I'll go on to the next one. So here's the thing. This guy, he can search for your Niroi, and then Niroi can just special summon itself. So if you just search for the other Niroi, you can then just like special summon, and then basically you get with just this guy as a starter, you basically can get like a if you have the fusion spell, you can go into fusion right away, or on your opponent's turn you can guarantee that you'll be able to do that right away on your opponent's turn. Or you could like guarantee that you can go into a link 2 if you'd rather do that. So that's kind of cool. Something right there. Or you could even go into a rank 3, like pretty much a guaranteed rank 3, which is nice as well. Oh, and since there's Beast Warriors in this deck as well, like you could even play Tanky. I think I was playing Tanky. You could, but unfortunately you don't have any like level 4 low warriors, so you can't play reinforcement as well. But I mean, there's also like different typings which maybe like can allow you to play, I don't know, that may just be hurting like that they're like different typings, but yet they like it's in a way where like basically like the ones that like they switch out to the other is the same, is basically like the same type as them, so you kind of still don't want to play there can only be one, because it still kind of screws you over. Rivalry isn't that great for you either. See, like I think like that's another thing, you kind of lose to a like all 3 of the like you lose to rivalry, goes in match, and there can only be one, which really sucks. So yeah, like That's what I'm thinking anyway. That you like lose to all of them just because like this deck is like set up in the way it is. Like it's not necessarily easy to play around any of those. Maybe, actually, maybe I'm wrong. Well, at least the level 1s kind of share the typing. So that kind of sucks for them. But like the level, and also the level 4s share the same typing as well. And then light and dark, you kind of want to make sure you have both light and dark turned on. Yeah, I just don't think it does you really all that good because like most of the level monsters like have the same typing between their levels, and usually you're switching out to like the other guy of equal level. When you're doing your switching out, you're tagging out. So I guess that also like doesn't help the deck, like the fact that it loses to all 3 of those floodgates. Oh wait, my bad. I meant to go to my opponent's deck here. So here's the next one. This one's called Lost Man in the Mirror. This is kind of nice. Wow, my opponent's not playing any of the fusions. That's crazy. The deck description here reads a deck that allows you to learn the basics of Dream Mirror. Fight well, carefully, determining which effect of each Dream Mirror card will apply, depending on which of the 2 field spells is present. Well, if this is basically more of a deck allowing you to learn more of the basics, why are they giving it to my opponent? That seems kind of weird. Like this, I feel like this maybe like should have been the deck that I should have been playing against my opponent, because it kind of takes out the hassle of the X deck, which some people might find a little bit confusing. It would be kind of nice if there was like a kind of reversal, so maybe like you could start with this and then you could go into like a pure version that has like the X deck included. But oh well. Because like it doesn't really do you any good for your opponent to have this because you're never gonna play it yourself. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And this does look like a more simplistic deck because it doesn't have, because like it's like really pure, like all of the cards in here are Dream Mirror cards. So you're like really gonna learn like a lot of what the Dream Mirror deck can do because it's got the Iron Romancy, so you'll be able to learn that the Dream Mirror can like negate either spell or traps or like special summons depending on which Dream Mirror card is in the field zone. See, this is another thing. The thing that kind of sucks about Oniromancy is that what if your opponent activates a spell or trap and you have Dream Mirror of Terror in the field zone, like, and you really need the negate of a spell or trap, but you had the wrong field spell. So that kind of stinks too. Like the wrong thing might be active at the time, and like it's not like super easy to just like turn it to the different one. I mean, you could play Metaverse or like some other cards that kind of like turn into the different one, but it's not like super easy to like do it right away. I mean, Metaverse is at 3 now for the TCG, but I still think, I'm not sure what Metaverse is at in this game. I think it might also be at 3. But still, like that's only like one card that like is super easy to activate on your opponent's turn. Maybe like they could eventually get a card that allows them to like swap out to like a different Dream Mirror, like during the middle of the opponent's combos or something like that. Like not just during the end phase. Maybe they could get their own trap, and I think that may like help them a little bit. Maybe it could even be a monster that, like, it says, like, during your opponent's turn, you can special summon this card, and then if you do, you, like, you activate a Dream Mirror card from your deck, or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, this is definitely seeming to be like a much... Wow, this deck doesn't even have the level 3 Dark Nairobi that like adds the other Nairobi to the hand. I think that could have been something that this deck could have had. Yeah, but it basically takes a lot of the Hassler X deck out, which... It's kind of a shame that they gave this to the opponent, because I feel like this would have actually been kind of nice for like learning the deck even like at an even better rate. I don't know. And then maybe they, or like if it would have been possible to play this first and then like switch to the pure one that's a little bit less pure, like that has a little bit more generic cards in it as well. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next deck, because I explained a lot of the Dream Mirror with my lone decks. I don't think I had to explain as much there. So here we go. So here's the lone deck here, where it's actually combining two different archetypes. This one's called Mirror of the Playcastle, and the deck description reads: a deck that combines Dream Mirror and Despia with fusion monsters as ace cards. If all of the fusion materials are present, both Despia and Dream Mirror fusion monsters can be fusion summoned via the effect of Despia Thea the Brandon. The Despia fusion monsters use light and dark monsters and fusion materials, so the Dream Mirror monsters should also be used to the fullest to take advantage of this fact. So yeah, the fact that all the Despias use a light or dark as at least one of their fusion materials, like they were saying, it goes well with the Dream Mirrors being both of the light and or the dark attribute. And the cool and that's where Nairobi also kind of becomes really good too, once again, because he can fulfill the role of either or, for like if you have, for like this guy that calls for both a light and a dark. So if you need him to be a light, he's able to be a light. At least on the field, he's able to be both. And then if you need him to be a dark, he's able to be a dark. And then this also, you can make it become light if you need it to become light, like, or you can just have it stay dark. So like this Nairobi kind of also helps fulfill the same role as this other Nairobi as well. But now you're only playing two of each of the Dream Mirror cards, or for the most part, except the high level cards, which is probably for the best that you're like playing one of each of those. Yeah, but Despia is not too bad. So like, it's cool that they gave me Despia, like, because I think like, oh wow, Aluba got semi-limited to 2. I didn't even realize that. Wow, I don't. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if I remember that happening or not. Okay, well, it's still at 3 here because they don't want to change a deck just because of a Forbidden Limited list. Of course, if you were of course, that means you can't play this exact list with your own spins. You would have to like play the 2 Alubas. Because like if you're playing something yourself, you still have to follow the normal Forbidden Limited list, which makes sense because like the only reason that they don't have to follow here is because like the deck's already kind of weak, so they feel like it doesn't even matter. Although I guess it could be kind of fun to be able to like test out like different lists against the opponent. Like that would be kind of nice, like against a computer opponent, like see how it does, like if like Totally Awesome was to be at 2 or 3 or etc., stuff like that. But anyway, So yeah, the Despia. Despia is really good at like negating stuff, getting more of your Despias. Despia is really good at searching. That's one of the things about Despia. And they also have Masquerade, which is really annoying because every time your opponent basically does anything, they have to pay 600 life points. So this can get real huge, and it's not a once per turn or anything. So that means if you have more than one on the field, that stacks. So now if you have like 2, your opponent has to pay 1200 every time now. And then if you have 3, they have to pay 1800 every time. And that can get real crazy real fast because all it takes is like 10 activations, which is really easy for like a lot of combo decks. And then suddenly the 6,000 life points lower, which is, man, it's ridiculous. But a fun fact is, like, I think I tested this, yeah, and so now I can kind of confirm it that, like, if you like negate the effects of Masquerade, which makes sense, it also negates that like your opponent needing to pay 600 life points. So that's kind of a way you can get around that. Although if like although what really sucks is when like you have like lower than 600 life points and then you can't really do anything. You basically need to it's basically game if your opponent has like lower than 600 life points and they're facing down this thing, because there's not really anything you can do, because like in order to you can't even negate it, because like in order to negate you have to activate something, and it happens like during the activation. It doesn't even happen during the resolution, so can't get around that really. I don't think there's really any way. But yeah. Oh yeah, and Despia is also really nice because this acts as like a once per turn fusion card that it can keep reusing without it having to go off the field once it's used, because most fusion cards, once they're used, they have to go to the graveyard. But with this one, as long as it's not destroyed, you can like keep fusion summoning once per turn, which is kind of crazy. And also, it allows you to fusion summon any level 8 or higher, so it doesn't even have to be a Despia. So that's also another reason why this works so well with Dreamier, because both of their fusions are also level 8 or higher. Yeah. Anyway, I'll go through the cycle. Probably can just basically start right here. So here's Despian Comedy, Despian Tragedy. I can just... Oh yeah, I think, yeah, Comedy also acts as a negate too. Yeah, see, this can get recurse stuff from your graveyard. That's also a nice thing that the deck can do. Fallen of Albaz is useful for a lot of the cards, because a lot of the cards either target a Despia or Fallen of Albaz. I forget why else he's good. Oh, it's because he also acts as a fusion card. If you like, you just need to discard a card in order to like fusion summon. And the cool thing about him is you can use monsters on either side of the field as fusion materials. So that's kind of nice. He kind of acts as like a super polymerization that actually can be like respond to, which still pretty good if your opponent doesn't have a response. This another one that adds a brand spell trap. And then Dramaturge and Ad Libitum can like special summon themselves pretty easily. Yeah. And then a lot of the branded spells can like oh wait. Can all, at least this one can also like basically act as a fusion summon at the same time. It gets you resources back, and it acts as a fusion spell. Yeah. They're not playing the one Despia card that also can act as like its own fusion as well, though. Here's the opponent's deck. So my opponent's deck is called Melodious Mirror, and I think this might actually be a little bit, I'm not sure, like Melodious just not as in the meta as Despia is, so I'm not sure if this one could be considered weak or not. Anyway, the deck description reads: a deck that combines Dreamier and Melodious with fusion monsters as its ace cards. The cards that support fairy types, such as Chopina, the Melodious Maestra, and Sonata, the Melodious Diva, can also benefit Ikelos, the Dreamier Sprite, and Oneiros, the Dreamier Urking, so use them effectively. So the reason why my opponent's playing Melodious with Dreamiers, I think they're only playing the Fairy Dreamiers, actually. So once again, my opponent's not playing the Dark Nairoy. Oh, but they are playing these guys, so I think those might be the only, no, actually, they're also playing those. But it's because the lower level fairies, like, act as fairies as well. And I'm not sure, like, okay, this one can get you back a light fairy type, so this kind of goes along with the at least the light side of the fairies for the Dreamiers. And then this gives fairies 300 attacks. That's another one. But a lot of the other Melodious though, like there's also quite a few other Melodious that like say about Melodious specifically. So not all the Melodious are as generic as those. And then the fusions don't pretty much only help themselves. Think. Yeah. And then like Dreamiers like don't really get any benefits of being banished, so I feel like there may be less synergy here than with Despia. Let's see, what about this? Like anything else where there's like really good synergy? Yeah, no, I think there's not as good synergy with the opponent's deck here as like there was with the Despia deck. So I'll go through the Melodious pretty much. So Sonata can special summon itself, just needing to control a Melodious, so that's cool. Melodious monsters can't be targeted by card effects of a destroy battle. It's probably one of the weaker Melodious monsters. Not sure if that actually sees play. This is pretty good since it allows you to Melodious as long as you can special summon it. And it also acts as like a card that can like fusion summon too, which is always nice. Not to like really have to like use being able to have like a monster as a fusion, because like usually they like have like other effects as well. Tam allows you to get your polymerization and can even occur from the graveyard, so that's nice. Yeah, and then those like give your fairies a little bit of attack. Oh. Yeah, and then this one can add you back your light fairies, so it can add you back a few of your Dreamiers. But it's kind of a shame that the ones that are like best for the Dreamers are like the high level ones, so you might not be always able to like bring them out super easily. Maybe with like some of the other cards, I'm not sure. Nah, it doesn't really look like you can bring them out super easily. I'm not sure. What about the fusion materials here? No, they're pretty specific on needing melodious monsters, so not really any synergy with like the fusion materials as much as it was for the Despia. So that's another thing. And terraforming to add the field spells, and playing less field spells to make room for the melodious stuff. Oh, Sonata is also another way to fusion summon Melodious. And there's also the Dreaming of Chaos for the fusion summon of the Dreamers. Yeah. And then a few generic stuff. And I'll also show the Melodious stuff. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll go into the last one. Into the last two, I mean. Okay, so here's the first one of the two. It's called Serpent in the Mirror, and then the deck description reads, a deck that combines Daedalus, which utilizes field spell cards, and Dreamer. If your field spells have been placed in both field zones to the effect of Dreamer Hypnagogia, it will be easier to maximize both the effect of the Dreamer monsters and the effect of Chaos Daedalus. Think of your hand in the field when looking for opportunities to use it. Oh, so one of these guys can like set it up on both? Dreamer Hypnagogia. What? What is that? Oh. Oh, there it is. Oh. So this is how you can like have both a joy and a tear out. And it can also mess up your opponent's field zone a little bit. So maybe like you can activate it in response to your opponent placing down a field zone. Okay, so the Dreamers do have something that can like place like Dreamer cards in the middle of combos. So I don't know, like I guess that I was kind of wrong there, but like still like you. So if you have like 3 Metaverse, 3 Hypnagogia, and then 3 Trap Trick, you can like basically have like 9 different ways, which isn't too bad. But still, like you could just as easily like not drawn to any of those. And then that kind of sucks for you. But I mean, I guess it's not like the worst thing ever. So maybe that's not the reason why people don't really like this deck. Maybe it's just because like if like your opponent like destroys them and you don't like really have a way of like setting up another one. Like so kind of what I was saying, like 9 slots out of like 40 might still be a little bit hard to like see one of those cards, especially when it's like important that you like have like backup, like if your opponent destroys one of the field spells. But I guess like if they also get maybe it's also because like if they get rid of the monsters, like that could also kind of suck as well. I don't know why people don't really like the deck all that much. I just like know like I don't know. If anyone like knows why like this like what makes this deck like not very good in the competitive scene, like they can let me know. Maybe it's because you can't like special summon a whole bunch of monsters like in one turn like you can with other decks. Yeah, somebody can definitely let me know though, because that would be interesting in hearing why. And I'm not the best like at like looking at a deck and saying how much competitive potential it has. Like, I don't really play a lot of tournaments either. So maybe that's like, maybe like why I'm not the best when it comes to stuff like that. Like being like a good judge in that way. Anyway, Lightweight Daedalus, like, so like, yeah, like what the poem was talking about, like playing a few like of the not as good chaos cards, I guess. Just because the Daedalus, like, really wanted to like home in on the Daedalus strategy, which there's not really a lot of Daedalus cards. Looks like there's really only like 2 different Daedalus cards. And they both like utilize like either having the lights or having the darks. And they both this one protects field spells, which is kind of cool. Oh wait, no, this one protects your lion darks while you have a field spell. And also it can destroy cards, like if there's like 2 field spells because of the Hypnagogia, so it could destroy up to 2, which is, I guess, kind of nice. And then Daedalus can basically, if you no longer need a field spell, or like if you're like using Hypnagogia and then like you don't think you need that field spell on your opponent's side of the field, like you could like get rid of it to destroy 2 of their cards. But it does kind of stink that you have to get rid of like because like still like a Dreamia on the field is kind of nice for you because it helps like open up some of your effects. So even if like it's on your opponent's field, like a lot of the times the field spell that's on your opponent's field would be a Dreamia, and you don't always want to be getting rid of that, so the effect is kind of like anti-synergistic, I feel. But I mean, I guess if you're like going for a game, like it's not too bad, but still I think this one's probably better since this doesn't actually have to get rid of a field spell to destroy stuff. It banishes too instead of destroying them, so it can get around destruction protection, which I'm not sure how much destruction protection my opponent would even have. And then of course a few generic cards. And then a few generic X deck monsters as well. Big Eye for stealing stuff, Maestro for putting stuff into face down offense, Ragnazio for destroying monsters whose current attack is different from the original attack, so maybe my opponent's playing some attack modifications, shenanigans. Hope Arbiter to stop spells by my opponent. Link Rebo to basically help halt attacks. Phoenix to get rid of back row. Wee Witches and Hip Potion again to up the attack of a few of my monsters, and then even a few Trick Stars. Wait, what? Why are there Trick Stars in here? I don't get what the point of the Trick Stars. I mean, this one you can't even use this one, I don't think. Because what Trick Stars do you even have? What is that even doing in here? I don't think you can even bring this out. And it's not that great of an effect either. Just like inflicting a little bit of damage. I mean, it's a lot, definitely a lot more useful in a strategy that's more focused on the Trick Stars. You can't even bring it out though. So I don't get it. Because this doesn't even count as a level 2. Oh, because you bring it out after Foxglove is destroyed. Okay, I see now why. But still, not that great. Like, these tricks are probably not, like, really that great, I don't think. Although, being able to inflict 200 damage for each card they control, like, this could be good, like, if, like, your opponent is, like, low on life points. You could maybe bring it out, and if your opponent has, like, and then if you can maybe crash into something and, like, inflict game with the burn effect, that could be kind of cool. And then Unicorn for, getting rid of stuff as well. Yeah. Yeah, I would say the KSA list is or it's probably good because like the KSA list I think is definitely a lot easier to bring out than that lightweight Daedalus anyway. Okay, so this one's called Earthbound Mirror. The deck description reads: a deck that combines Earthbound Immortal and Dream Mirror and in which field spells are the key to victory. If you use the effect of Dream Mirror monsters effectively in attack, your field spell should be in good shape. But if your opponent manages to destroy your field spell, try using Earthbound Immortal Revival as well. You can add an Earthbound monster from your graveyard and field spell to your hand, giving you a chance to turn the tide of battle. Okay. So, since my opponent's playing Earthbound, it's a lot better that I'm running the lightweight Daedalus, because now I can get rid of the field spell, which can in turn get rid of the Earthbound Immortal. Still, I don't think my opponent really has like a lot of monsters that like are looking to modify their attacks or like other monsters' attacks. So I still don't think that Rhino Zero may prove to be like very useful. Wow, destroying all spells and traps, like, but Hoppy's Feather Duster would basically be able to accomplish the exact same thing in a much easier way. And they're only playing one anyway, so like that could easily just have been replaced. But my opponent really wants to focus more on the Earthbound Immortal feel. This can like recur an Earthbound Immortal and a field spell, so that's nice for them. I'm not sure how it works if you're playing like... Oh, if there's no face-up field spell. I'm not sure how it works if like my opponent has an Earthbound Immortal and like I play like a Hypnagogia. Since it like can basically replace the field spells. If like I feel like the Earthbound Immortal would still be destroyed because like there is a moment where there is no field spell. I'm not exactly sure though, but I think that is how that works. So Hypnagogia could potentially act as another way of being able to like destroy the Earthbound Immortal. I think. Someone can like correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think that is how it works. Of course, Earthbound Linewalker can help protect the Earthbound Immortal from destroying themselves, which is kind of useful. Yeah, then this one can basically inflict burn to me, so probably not one of the best Earthbound Immortals, but they are playing it because it's a dark, so it kind of helps fit the light and dark theme. But I definitely feel like some of the other Earthbound Immortals are a little bit better than it. But it is, and it has to like, and it's only when it destroys an opponent's monster with battle. So it's kind of like like that wingman effect, that like one fusion in the elemental heroes that kind of got an effect like that. It's equal to destroy monster's original attack. Dream Me of Joy. Let's got pretty nice stats though. Yeah, so I looked at those. Here's another Immortal, Earthbound Immortal. Allows my opponent to special summon it from the graveyard. Again, like Monster Reborn could basically fill the same role. But this is actually not too bad, since it gets both a field spell and an Earthbound Immortal back from the graveyard, which is really helpful with the Dream Mirrors, especially because they're really important field spells, and there's not really like much of an easy way of getting them from the graveyard. And then Roar of the Earthbound Immortal is another one. Still, I mean, like, there's probably like a lot of other cards that like basically can like be like a lot more useful and doesn't require an Earthbound Immortal. Like, I mean, Mirror Force would probably be a lot more useful, since it can basically just take like a whole bunch of monsters out potentially. Anyway, Aniros, yeah, I looked at those. Evil Swarm, good for taking out all of the cards on the field for when my opponent gets really desperate. And then a few other disruption cards. Cross Sheet, because my opponent's running a few fusions, so it can help special summon out some of the weaker level monsters, lower level monsters from the graveyard. And also, they do technically have an Exceed, so they can get the Exceed effect too, but it's probably just more worth it for the fusion effect. Unicorn, Blacklisted Soldier, because they are playing a few high level monsters. Nightmare Griffin, Underworld Goddess, the Closed World. Oh yeah, Nightmare Griffin, another way to get back the field spells. And then the Underworld Goddess. I think IP plus Underworld Goddess is probably like a really good move for like decks that like can like summon a lot of monsters. Because this is really nice, because then you can like surprise the opponent by like taking one of the monsters on their turn, and it can bypass like targeting protection, destruction protection, a lot of different protections. I think it can even get around like complete immunity to card effects, because you're not like trying to affect it with anything, you're just trying to take it as a link material, use it as a link material. So that's really cool too. So it can also get like bypass effect immune monsters, so that's cool. Anyway, I think I'm gonna stop there. Just want to get through all of another one, just so I can get done with these deck overviews just that little bit faster. I hope everyone who watched the deck overviews enjoyed whatever decks you might have seen. I'll probably at some point I should have the different thumbnails for the different decks in the description, so that if there's like a specific either pure or hybrid list you want to check out, you can just click on that one to see it. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I'm not gonna be doing a pack or and I'll make sure to leave the Bible verse in the description. I just want to go into the outro right away, because like it's getting to be kind of long. Okay. Please like, share, and subscribe, and consider ringing that notification bell for regular content. You can either ring the notification bell to be notified of all my videos, or personalized by simply clicking the notification bell and selecting all or personalized. All is being notified about all my videos, whether you watch them or not, and personalized is being notified of the videos that you watch the most. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, that would be greatly appreciated. You can leave a comment about anything, either pertaining to the video, pertaining to the verse I leave in the description, or just something random if you'd like. Just please keep it appropriate. You can even leave an emote if you would like, but just be aware that it may lock you out if you paste too many of the same emote in a day. Just in case, like, if you decide one day you just paste emotes on a whole bunch of my videos, just keep that in mind. Usually you can fix that by either going with a different emote or by posting multiples of that emote instead of just the one. And thank you everyone who do watch my videos, and a big thanks to those who do watch all of my videos, but still thank you to everyone who only watches a couple once in a while, or just watches one of the games. I understand how it is no matter how you do it. It's just appreciated no matter what, no matter how you decide to go about viewing my videos.